Hey, everybody. My name is Josh, and I run the podcast show, Podcast Host Army, The Deal Scout, Uncensored Advice for Men, and CRE Principles. We run 4 podcast shows. And I'll tell you, after doing a bunch of podcast shows and being in the business of podcasting, coaching, consulting, you'll get a lot of people who want your time. Now, as a podcaster, your time is valuable. I'm cranking out 4 to 10 interviews per day. I've got a content crew, and we're making a lot of content for our strategic partners and our paid sponsors. And I'll tell you that people want time, especially when they see traction and movement. This is a tip that I learned from Dan Martell. He wrote the book, Buy Back Your Time. In one of his posts, he said, do this. When someone's asking for your time, and you have a paid service, you could say, this is how I typically do things. And you could give them the link to your paid service. Now, sometimes people will be like, man, I just wanted a coffee, which is like the code word for, I want your time for free. And if that happens to you often, what you could find yourself is constantly doing coffee. I have an office in a business incubator, and people will just walk in. So I have a curtain that I close, and I have a recording button that I click, and it's a light. But people will walk in and they want your time. Here's what Dan does, and what I recommend is when someone asks for that time, pull out your phone and say, I've got to schedule this. Let me give you my scheduling link and my coaching process or my service process. And in that, it says, this is what you're asking for, this is what you get, and this is how much. Sometimes people will go, man, I just want a coffee, or I just want to get your brain. It'll only be 15 minutes, which is never true. It's always an hour, right? So drive them to that link. But if you feel like there's people every once in a while that you just truly want to help, or you want to do an intro, you could give away a free intro call. You say, no problem. I offer a free intro strategy call. Or you could always have, and I just got off the phone with one of the guys that I'm giving some coaching to. I said, have your coaching services, but also have some type of philanthropic like giveaway where once a month you take on a free coaching client, someone who can't pay, someone who just needs some help, and that you're willing to walk them through. And that's your contribution because it's been paid for by someone else. So you could say, this is how I typically do this. I get paid to do this, but I have a free spot that I give away once a quarter, once a month, once a week. You get to choose. But now you're getting choices in front of the person. You could join the waiting list to get it for free, or they could jump in right now and get help now. Okay? You could do that, or you could just consistently give away your time for free, and it's going to hurt, because I've done that, and it's very expensive to give away your time. Your time is your only thing that you can't get back. You can't make more time. So that's just a piece of advice. And what I did is I just taking my own advice, I went in and created a Calendly link that collects payments. It doesn't matter how much. What you're doing is you're putting a little hurdle in front of people that are just time sucks. They just want what you've gathered from 15 years of figuring this stuff out. They want to try to capture that in a coffee meeting. They want to buy a $4 coffee and get your experience. So what you can do is you could put a Calendly link in front of them that has a payment thing. So you don't have to have a website. You don't have to do anything fancy. You could literally just have that. So I know I rambled a little bit, but you can give people options. They want your time. Give it if you want. Like if they're pretty interesting, go for it. You can offer them the 2 options where you're like, this is how I typically do it with coaching. You could go pay me now, or once a quarter, once a month, whatever. I give away time as my philanthropic. This is how I give back. So you could offer that too. There's other methods and tactics, but I'm running out of time. And what I wanted to do is I'll show you the link. I created this on Calendly. Took me a few minutes. I connected it with my Stripe, and I just put a number out there, because if people want an hour of my time, why not pay for it? I could give the money to a charity. I could keep it. I could do whatever I want. But what it does is it weeds out those who aren't interested in investing in themselves. Invest in yourself, and then make sure that you know the value that you bring to the table based on your experiences. All right. So my name's Josh, Podcast Host Army. Check it out. And man, I might be wrong. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right. We'll talk to you on the next episode.